At this time, I would like to introduce our commencement speaker, Mr. Garrett Takach. Garrett is an alum from the graduating class of 2014. He is the owner and founder of local business Ninja Park. He is co-owner of Solomon's Leadership and Business Development, co-owner of Round Net ABQ, a certified personal trainer, public speaker, published author, and competitor on NBC's American Ninja Warrior, all at the ripe old age of 22. I would like to share the smallest of stories about Garrett. Garrett grew up with my children who were slightly older. For his 4th birthday, he received a bicycle with training wheels. His mom came to me and said, "Chris, Garrett wants to take off his training wheels." I said, "No worries, Marie. He will fall without them and will want them right back on." Garrett, of course, rode away without his training wheels and made me eat my words. At that moment, Garrett taught me never to doubt what can be accomplished when desire and perseverance are at work. He taught me a valuable lesson. Without further ado, Mr. Garrett Takach.
Thank you. So, here you are, graduation day. Does it even feel real yet? Yeah, is it setting in yet? Did you ever think this was gonna happen? Back to 4th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, right? High school graduates. Well, you did it, and here you are, so congratulations. 4 years ago, I was sitting where you are now, graduating high school. And immediately after graduating, I got to work on building my big dreams of creating a new way of fitness, of competing on American Ninja Warrior, and opening Ninja Park, what would be an obstacle fitness gym. And fortunately by that time, I had regained the ability to dream, because like most people, this was something that I had once lost. Before realizing my calling of opening Ninja Park, an obstacle fitness gym, I was sure that I was meant to be a professional hockey player. And I was playing as a hockey, but somewhere out there is someone your age who could have beaten him. And this devastated me because I didn't know how to work any harder. I was already playing at the highest level that was available to me. And this really crushed me because this was the first time that somebody had confirmed the doubts that I had about myself, that I could ever be a professional player. And this was the first time in my life that I was willing to settle for a life that fell short of total fulfillment of my passions and my dreams. And it wasn't until a few years later that I saw American Ninja Warrior on TV. And I saw the competitors on that course, and I knew that I had to get on that course as a competitor. It felt like a calling. It felt like just something I just had to do. After all, when I was a kid, I was always jumping off the roof, onto the trampoline, back up onto the roof, and making obstacles out of absolutely everything, long before American Ninja Warrior was ever aired on TV. So it just felt like something I just had to do. So to start practicing, I started building obstacles in the backyard. And this reignited a passion for fitness as well. So much so that when I was a senior in high school, I became a certified personal trainer and started working at Sports and Wellness. And it was there that I realized that this dream that I have, this passion that I have, it's not just about overcoming obstacles myself, it's about helping other people to overcome obstacles and overcome challenges in their lives as well. And it was there that I realized a problem in the world that I wanted to take a crack at fixing. And that was that fitness for most people is dull, it's tedious, it's mundane, and it's chore-like for people to keep themselves healthy. And it was something I wanted to fix because I didn't blame them. Even with my passion for fitness, conventional fitness to me it got boring quick, and it was hard for me to stay consistent enough to achieve my goals. So I decided that this time I was not going to let this dream slip away from me. So immediately after graduating, I got to work on building this dream into a reality. After 6 months, I had created the fitness style that combines the obstacles, the bodyweight exercises, and the strength training to form the fun, functional, and effective fitness style that I call TACFit. And with the help of my family, we had built the obstacles, and my business partner and I opened for business. And it was just great to dream again. There was authenticity, there was fulfillment, there was freedom in everything that I was doing, living into my truest self, and pursuing and creating this dream into a reality. And like I said, it's just so fortunate that I regained that ability to dream, because like most people, it's something I once lost. So what happens? Why do we lose the ability to dream? Right? Dreaming is something that more so a child can do. That's kind of our culture, right? A child does that, but then as you grow up, you kind of have to forget about that and start getting real, right? So why does this happen? Think back to when you were kids. What did the adults around you say to you? It was most likely things like, you can do anything you set your mind to. Dream big, pursue your passions, right? Most likely it wasn't things like, settle for comfort and predictability, forget the dreams. Most likely it wasn't, you can do anything realistic you set your mind to that can keep a roof over your head and pay the bills. Probably not, right? So oddly enough, maybe now as we become adults, the same adults who once encouraged our dreams may be unintentionally, but inadvertently, switching from encouragement to what I call dream shaming. And this looks like, yeah, I know you have that dream, but you gotta get real, you gotta start getting real, you gotta wake up to the world, you gotta stop fooling around with that, start getting serious, right? This is what I call dream shaming. And unfortunately, the pattern that results of this is something like we forget our dreams, we abandon those dreams, and live a life that's maybe just not quite as authentic, maybe not as fulfilling as it could be. But you can break that pattern. So I once read in a book, my simple answer to your question, Mr. North, is that I did not know the future. Instead, I dreamed the future. In a book called Dear Mr. A, Letters Revealing the Secrets of an Entrepreneur by George Black. And I read on, as Mr. A said, so Mr. North, I've noticed that today most people are too busy to dream, because dreaming requires one to pause and to take stock of where one is in life. And this is something that most people are just too busy to do. But if people did pause to dream, they would discover within themselves deep wells of inspiration and creativity. And I believe that they would know a greater satisfaction in life as well. After all, you only live once, right? So, here are your options. Number one, live your life being influenced by other people's opinions of your dreams and live for them. Right? Number two, live your life authentically into the truest parts about yourself. Decide right now that you're going to refuse to settle for any life that falls short of total and ultimate fulfillment of your passions and your dreams, and greatly dip the universe with the impact that you were created to make. So, I'll leave the option up to you. But that book completely inspired me to enter the arena of entrepreneurialism. And not only did it inspire me to dream my future, but it guided me in a practical way of how to create a strategic process called the Next Level Navigator that would act as my roadmap in creating success in what I most love to do. Now you may be saying, yeah, but I don't have a big dream anymore. My big dream is too big for me. Success is for other people. I'm not good enough for that, or I'll figure it out later, right? So these are called limiting beliefs. And these limiting beliefs have to be uprooted because they serve no productive purpose in your growth into your greater potential and your brighter future. My limiting belief was self-doubt, and it was amplified by my hockey experience. So much so, to a point where it became a daily method of operation for me to operate with self-doubt. But my dreams and my passions were up here. But I had beliefs that limited me to right here. So those had to be removed and replaced with beliefs that supported my growth into my greater potential so that I could achieve those dreams and create that into a reality. Right? So there may be some beliefs in your life that you have to uproot because they serve no productive purpose in your growth. Right? So, like I said, the first year of business was going absolutely great until I ran into a major disruption. And that was that my business partner had misrepresented his business dealings with me. And I felt totally betrayed. And I knew that I couldn't do business with somebody that I didn't trust. So we negotiated into the partnership. And then he opened an obstacle gym directly across the street from me, my guest to put me out of business. And everyone at this time told me, they said, you have to become a cutthroat businessman, run that guy out of business. And I felt stuck because that just wasn't me. That had no alignment to the reasons that I opened this gym in the first place, to the impact that I wanted to make by doing this. So this left me in such a state of emotional turmoil. There was hurt, there was loss, there was anger, frustration. I felt like the situation was unfair, there was betrayal, depression, and I didn't have the same passion and motivation to go back into the company and keep driving things forward. But I also couldn't imagine letting it fail, so I felt stuck. And finally, after about 6 months, I started to take what George describes as the creative response to disruption. I know that sounds weird, so let me explain. Part of my healing process during that time was to reread that book and recreate my Next Level Navigator. And during this time of all this emotional turmoil, what really captured my attention was when he would talk about how everyone is going to face a disruption. That's just a fact of life. It's going to happen to all of us. No one's going to be spared. But we do have a choice how we choose to respond. We can be bitter, angry, unforgiving, or we can respond with love, forgiveness, kindness, right? But we also have a third choice, and he explains that this third choice is not just another option, but it's a golden opportunity. And I want to tell you about this because you will all have this golden opportunity as well, and I hope that you take it. This golden opportunity is that you can respond creatively to the disruption. And it's the disruption itself that will allow your creativity to flow. You've all heard the phrase, think outside the box, right? Well, a true creative would say to that, what box? There is no reference point, right? And that's what that disruption did for you. It obliterated your box. It wiped out all previous reference points that you were currently operating from. Now you're free to operate and create without restraint. But you're gonna have to seek emotional healing from the disruption because it caused emotional turmoil and hurt and loss. But if you choose to respond creatively, you have the golden opportunity to do so. And that's exactly what happened in my situation with my business partner. His falsehoods and him leaving the company and him opening across the street completely obliterated the box, the reference points that I was previously operating from. And I had to continue seeking healing, but I realized that I didn't want to let this opportunity pass me by. So I was free to implement as I chose. And I had new ideas and different ways of doing things that I wanted to try. And in the next year, we doubled the size of our facility. We added a weight room, we added rock climbing, we added a designated area for our youth program. We increased the size of our staff. We increased the service offerings to the community. We went on later in the year to win the 2016 American Small Business Championship put on by S'more and Sam's Club and the $25,000 grand prize that went along with it. And we used that $25,000 grand prize to launch our A-Team program. And this is where we provide little to no cost personal training to kids with attributes of autism to teach them with literal obstacles that with practice, perseverance, and determination, any obstacle can be conquered. And this is something that's really close to my heart. My younger brother has autism, so growing up with him, I developed a lot of love, understanding, and passion. And I developed a deep drive and a motivation to make a positive impact in that community. So it was an honor when later in the year, in 2016, I was awarded the 2016 Hero of Autism Award. And none of that would have happened if not for the disruption that removed my reference points, but almost took me out in the first place. So, one last thought for you. This school has prepared you for success with one success principle in particular, and that's success compression. Success compression is when dedicated time is applied, it leads to quantum leaps of progress and success. So, this principle has set you up for success so much that by the time anyone else even looks up from their Facebook feed, you'll be so far gone that they can't even see you, right? So in Main Lab and Smart Lab, you learn how to focus, you learn how to control your attention, you learn how to put 3.5 hours of focused, dedicated time into what you are doing. Now, if you apply that now to your passions and your dreams, you can, my bet is on you to succeed if you do that. And this is so important to understand because what controls your attention controls your life, right? So if your dream is to go cure cancer, but Facebook and Instagram control your attention, then guess what will not be produced in your life, right? It's probably the fulfillment of that dream. Why? Because you spent your life reacting to the world rather than creating within it. And I'm willing to bet that all of your dreams are going to require you to create within this world. So fight for the ability to create rather than just react to the world. So class of 2018, dare to dream. In fact, decide right here, right now, that you're going to refuse to settle for any kind of life that fall short of total fulfillment of your passions and your dreams. As George quotes Teddy Roosevelt in the opening of Dearest Ray, all of this is preparing you to strive valiantly, to dare greatly, and to spin yourself in a worthy cause. And you're ready and you're able. So now, go change the world. And may God bless you in all your endeavors.